There we go.
There we go.
Well, I gotta swear to damn Jamie, listen to Mama D, otherwise you'll have me losing my patience. Hey everybody, long time no see.
Yes, good evening everybody. I am Gina B. The place to be is here with me and Mama D every Thursday evening, usually, right here in the Fox Den. And we've had some time off. I've had some health issues and dealing with COVID and the remnants of COVID, shots after COVID and everything else, and so it just has been a nightmare. I still don't have a voice, and we've been having some little kind of glitches here and there with our broadcast. Hi, Michelle. So far, so hopefully we won't have any issues. If my camera goes out, I have it right here. I can plug it out and replug it, and it should be fine. But tonight we have Richard Case with us. He's in Mama D's spot right next to me over here.
I got nothing to say, but I have a question. Yeah. Okay, and I think I heard this earlier, but Richard, psychic medium?
No.
Okay, so anybody who's tuning into this and it says psychic medium, somebody didn't do their job.
I took that off. I deleted it.
Freaking sit.
Oh, that's the old one.
Yeah, that's the old one. Oh, yeah, but how does it stay up there?
That's what's playing on our live because
because of on here.
So so disclaimer: he's not a psychic medium.
I'm not going to pretend.
He might be psychotic, but we'll find out during the show.
All right. So Richard, medium Case is with
Mama
us.
D, just psychic, psychotic.
Hi, Barbara. Let me tell you a little bit about him, and then we're going to ask him all kinds of questions, and it's going to be a great paranormal type show tonight. So he has been investigating since he's been a teenager, and now he's in his 50s. He's traveled the world collecting people's beliefs and ghosts and superstitions and folklore, and look at it from a psychological and historical and cultural perspective. He's left alone in haunted buildings as a skeptic, and he's known as the Ghost Challenger when he does that. He's often on BBC Radio and talk radio as their advisor on all things paranormal. He's been featured in many magazines and a guest on many radio shows, and now we're just fortunate enough to have him in the Fox Den with us, all the way from the UK at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've been drinking, as I said, copious cups of coffee and lots of water now.
Gina was supposed to fill the green room.
Oh, the green room with the coffee. But I think the water's doing okay.
The water will go right through us.
Yeah.
So all right, having said that, now, actually on some other information that I have for you, you've investigated places like Alcatraz. Now that is definitely a place on my bucket list. How was that? Why did you go? When did you go? Who went with you?
Well, what it was, I took a trip around the world, and I decided that I wanted to go to all the various places around the world. I was very privileged to do that. And I thought, well, there's got to be a way to do it that isn't going to cost loads and loads of money, because I can't afford to fly here and fly there. So I thought, well, why don't I go on a normal world cruise, but treat it like a busman's holiday? So I contacted all the places before I landed on the cruise, and I went to all the various parts of the world. And when I got there, I started asking them about ghosts and what they've seen. And when we went to San Francisco, I thought I've got to go to Alcatraz. So I saw it over you could see the island, and it was there inviting me to go over. And I thought it's number one on my bucket list. And going over there, you can actually feel, I mean, when I went over, it was very, very misty. I mean, that photo I got there is quite surprising, because it caught it on a good moment, but as I got near it, the mist sort of went around the island, so I can recall that. And I kind of thought for a minute, even though I'm not a psychic, I kind of had that feeling of what people would have felt like going over there, to know they were going to spend their time over there in jail. When I went over there, I spoke to the guards and I said, look, I've been emailing you guys. It's a really difficult one. I want to spend time alone in an area where the tourists aren't going to go. And they did let me go to the D block. So I didn't have the normal tourist thing on. I took that off, rushed over there. And they said, this is where we get a lot of the atmosphere, in the D block. So I spent time alone in one of the cells there. And it did feel very atmospheric. I mean, I was lucky. It was daytime. So you could still hear, I mean, not lucky, that was probably bad luck, but you could still hear the tourists walking around and you could still feel comfortable in there. So in a psychological sense, I would have felt at ease. But I am meaning to go back and spend because they do the evening watch at Alcatraz, and I've spoke to them and said when I go back again, I want to, because this time I'm not going to do it by cruise. I'm probably going to fly over to the States, and I'm going to look at staying in Alcatraz in the evening time. That's going to be the real challenge to do that.
Wow.
But it's a wonderful place, and I did take recordings because even though I'm a skeptic, obviously you know about EVP, electric voice phenomena.
Oh, what of them?
What I will say, my view on electric voice phenomena is this. I once went on radio and I played a sound to everyone, and it was a lot of gobbledygooch. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. I played it and it was like, yeah, like that, just like that. No sense. Once I told them what it was meant to say, they could hear it. They heard it. Yeah. And it was the same. After that, you could hear it. So that's a psychological thing that can be with EVP. Now, I know that I did do EVP a long time ago in a church, and I was there, and a medium said to me, "Just say you come with respect." So I said, "Okay, I'll do that." I come with respect, and suddenly I had a clear voice, like you and I, saying, "We know," answering me, and that was clear.
Yep.
So to me, that was really good EVP because it was clear. I didn't need to, and I got people to write down what they thought it was. They all agreed with me, so that was good EVP. So when I went to Alcatraz, I thought, okay, I've had one result once that was good. That even my skepticism couldn't answer that one. I know it could have been a stray radio station still, but answering my question, that was pretty good, you know. So right. I thought, because I've had that experience, I'll give a try, and I did try it in Alcatraz. Unfortunately, I got nothing back in Alcatraz at that time, which is the way it is. You know, you don't always get it when you go to these places. But I did meet one of the inmates of Alcatraz who was there a long time ago writing a book. I was so lucky. He's writing his life story about Alcatraz, and he told me about, you know, the old natives there used to believe in the ghosts and all the things way before, you know, it was the prison. So that island has got a lot of history and a lot of background, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I love jails, but my favorite is Ohio State Reformatory.
That's on my bucket list, definitely.
It's the best prison. I've done a lot of prisons, and that is the best one for evidence and whatnot. But you know, I got locked in a cell there because I was sitting in solitary, you know, and we had the place to ourselves, you know, as a team. And that was like the first time that I'd gone there. And this person on my team just kind of, you know, a little outgoing. I'm sitting in there and I'm, you know, just setting up equipment and stuff. She shuts the door. Door gets stuck. So now it's pitch black.
So who shut the door? Was it someone there that shut the door?
On my team, someone on my
team. Yeah,
not a team that, you know, I left.
And it wasn't me.
But just a. But anyway, so the door gets stuck, and then I'm really stuck in there. So while I'm in there, I was like, wow, you know. At first, I was like, okay, well, you know, I got my equipment, so I might as well do some sessions and stuff. But then it really started sinking in, like, wow, I'm really stuck in here.
Yeah.
You know, they have to go find someone to actually come out and open this door, you know, if they can't get this door open, you know. And I'm like, this is what they had to have felt like.
Well, we got a place that I visited in Wales, which is just outside of England. There's a place I visited there that had an oblette, which is a bottomless pit. They used to throw them in the pit and forget about them. The French would completely forget about them and they'd be left there to die. And they did a session there where they had one of the guys lying down above the pit, and he suddenly took on the persona of the jail guard and everything else. And he was saying all about it and giving all the history. And he had never been affected before. And it really did take me by surprise, because he was another guy that I know very well who was a skeptic and said, well, I'll give it a try lying across it. And when he suddenly went like that, that was a real eye-opening experience, really, to know what was going on.
Yeah, for sure. Michelle says she's done day investigations with just as much success as nighttime. quite honestly, all my best evidence has always come from the daytime and not the nighttime, but we're isolated.
I agree totally, because a lot of people think that you've got to be in a dark building at night, and it's good. It's good to be in the dark and a bit spooky for people, but like you say, daytimes is when a lot of occurrences happen. So,
yeah, really, seriously, my best evidence has always definitely been the daytime. I've got 15 apparitions walking on the foyer. I've got, like, there's so many EVPs that are just Class A EVPs, all during the day.
That EVP I told you about, we know, that was broad daylight. That was around about 12 o'clock dinner time.
Let me play you this, because this is as loud as it was, right?
Yeah.
And it says I could cut you, but you'll hear it,
Why do you hang around this building?
So he says, I could cut you, I could cut you, I could cut you, I could cut your throat, I could cut you up. It was always this thing at this one building that I actually investigated for well over a year.
Did you find out the history of the building and what may have been? Yeah.
Oh yeah, a year and a half. Yeah, I found out everything about this building, who this person was, and then once I found out who he was, and I have a psychic friend that came over and he knew all about it. He said, this guy, he's like about 4 foot nothing.
Yeah.
That very dweeby guy, but he's making himself sound like he's a demon.
Sound powerful.
And he's trapping all these spirits in this building. And this building was it was a storage place, and the only people in the entire humongous building complex that used to be connected with underground tunnels to other buildings that his parents owned.
Because I agree totally. You need to investigate, like you've done, investigate a location a long, long time to really get to know the location, the history, the occurrences. I mean, I've taken probably to the location where I got the EVP, I've taken probably 30 odd mediums to this place. And what's really got me is a lot of the time they come out with near enough the same kind of thing, which has made my skeptic mind then say, well, okay, they are coming up with these children that were here, they're coming up with this dying, they're coming up with the same kind of thing. And I don't know what you guys think on this, but I also think when you do a haunted location, if there are ghosts and if they're there, or spirits, then I think they get used to you, because they need you to be there a lot, and they get accustomed to you, and that's when they're going to not perform, because that sounds an awful word, but they're going to communicate.
I have conversations with them. I have, like when people are saying, "Oh, we got an EVP," the word "yes," this, that. I have conversations. I have seriously big conversations on the recordings, and I'm sitting there by myself, and they're answering my questions. So, but that guy was making himself out to be this big, badass guy. When I finally knew who he was, and I said who he was, and then all you hear in the background for the EVPs was, "Who told you that? Who told her?" And then he's talking to other people. "Did you tell her that?" All this stuff. Angry.
So it's almost like he's been exposed.
I got rid of all the other souls that were there, because now he's exposed. They know who he is, so these other spirits can move on, and they did. And you heard them leaving on the EVPs, going, "Julia, we're free." You hear them,
because we all know those people in life, don't we? We all know those creeps that turn around and make themselves bigger than what they are.
And he had a little cult going on in there, and a bloodletting cult. He used to take hookers in there and cut them in the basement because he couldn't get women because of the way he looked, but he could have anything he wanted because of mommy and daddy's money. So that's what made him big, was his stature and his power that way. So in death, he took it to the next level. But listen to him when I was trying to get rid of him. Now he's telling me, "You can't fight skulls." He's talking like he's a demon, and this is him.
He rules this building.
Did you hear that?
That was quite clear, though, that you can't be. I mean, I forgive me for being a skeptic, because I have to be sometimes with what I do and listen to. And I'm very conscious you've told me what to hear, so that's why I'm trying to listen. But hearing that, there that did "you can't" definitely come out quite clear,
Yeah,
which is almost like
skulls, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
what skulls? And then I looked that up, you know.
yeah, exactly.
And that was part of
When you can take the words and you can look something up, and then you can find evidence of what's been said, that's when it's all amazing, you know. And that's where you can take that to a complete skeptic and say, look, I've got the evidence, or you know, shock people almost. The thing in the paranormal world, I think there are people that are scoffers, people that just won't believe even if it comes and hit them in the face, you know. And I would never call myself a scoffer. I'd always say that I go in with an open mind because of what I've experienced, you know. I can't be completely a scoffer on it.
Can I show you one other thing here?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the apparitions walking.
Don't be afraid of that device. It's just so we can hear you talk. We don't want to hurt you. Come on in. Come in. Yeah. Come in. Hello. Hi. Yes, it is. What is it? Are you recording it? Yes. What's your name? You want to play basketball with us?
So I'm not playing the whole thing, but that clip is just a tiny little clip of a 15-minute clip of actually 15 apparitions. It's a sunken basketball court. We were on.
That is very interesting, because it's very clear where it's walking like a shadow going across, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see it moving.
Void of feet. If it was a person, if it was someone walking, would be yellow.
Yeah.
You know, white.
And then when you ask the question, you can almost see it kind of reacting and moving towards. So that was interesting.
It was a feeble-minded school.
Yeah.
And they were doing their daily thing. So they were in, where the basketball court was, and the center was like their changing room. There's no doors, no windows. They're in there, and they were trying to come out, but they had a spirit box going. I think the spirit box scared them more than us.
Yeah.
You know. And then that was the same girl. You heard her voice in the background. I don't know if you heard her or not. That's the one that locked me in there. So, but anyway, that So I was trying to have them come out, and I was being nice to them, and they were reacting to what I said. But then she came over and she even like messed up the camera. She's like, "Is it?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm going to kill you," because this is like the best thing I've ever recorded in my life.
When I went to a location a long time ago, we had something we thought we were communicating with, and this guy suddenly came in and he said, "Come the hell out and show yourself." And I turned, and it all went dead. And I said, "Listen to me." I said, "If you were knocking on someone's door, to go into the home or talk to somebody, would you speak like that to somebody?" And he said, "No." I said, "Your whole manner probably put whatever that was off, because you've just gone in there all gun ho, and it's all dead now. It's all quiet." So, I do notice that. I notice that when people communicate in a certain way, some people seem to have that knack.
Yep. I'm telling you, and they shut right down. The spirits don't, they're not going to talk to you if you're going to be mean, rude, crude. There's only one time that you should be forceful with a spirit, and that's when you're trying to get rid of them. Now, do you just go to haunted locations? Do you do cases? Do you get, do you remove them? Do you do that kind of work?
Well, let me firstly explain the Ghost Challenger title, because I've had a lot of people misunderstand that title. They think I go in there and I challenge them and I'm rude to which is not the case. The Ghost Challenger was more of a bit of fun. Basically, people said, we challenge you to be alone in Alcatraz because it's the most scariest places. We challenge you to be alone here. We challenge you. So that's why it's called the Ghost Challenger. That's that. I don't go in there, gun ho or anything. Regards to other things, I have been called out. I don't do that anymore, but I have had calls to people's homes when they've had spirits or ghosts. Now, I'm not a medium. I don't claim to be psychic or medium, although if I tell you about my childhood, a lot of people tell me that I was very sensitive when I was a child and very sensitive to spirit, and they think I've not yet opened up to it. And I can be I'm quite an empath in life, I suppose, a bit of a softie. But I kind of
I find a lot of people in the field are empaths.
Yeah, I think they are.
I think you need that, because if you're not empathic, then you are those
Yeah.
chumps going there torturing them.
So when I went to the home, I mean, I went to the home, and I often found though with that there was a young girl that always went with another female, because I'm an ex-police officer, so I've always said that, you know, if anyone calls you out, it's got to be safety first, you know. And been an ex-police officer, seeing what, bless you.
Sorry, I'm allergic to Gene, I think.
You're allergic to me.
I'm sending over the pollen from England, I think. So,
oh God, no, thank you.
So I've always gone in with, you know, sensible. But there was one girl that was adamant that she had what was like an incubus, you know, something was in the room. And, you know, I said it'd be very difficult. The only person that could record it would be the female, for obvious reasons. And I said, but what we found out, that she had a lot of psychological problems, and we managed to get her over to somebody that could really help. And that's often a danger with people doing homes and houses, because when I was a policeman, I did come across domestic abuse. And sadly, I come across sexual abuse, you know, and all those things. And it worries me often that there are people that say, I'm a medium, I can help you, you know, and you've got this guy that they're over here. We've had some horrible stories of people claiming to be this, and then terrible things happening.
Matters worse, and that irritates me to no end.
And also, it's frightening people as well, because some people go into homes and they say, you've got a demon in this home and it's going to attack you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. What is that?
Yeah.
You know, all right, people, it's not a demon. It's not a demon. Yes, Mama.
I have a question. You are an ex-police officer. Now, I know quite a few people. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I'm just me, Mama D, and I do me.
Quite a bit around us.
That's just because I hang around good people and I listen, I pay attention. But I've noticed that a lot of police officers are paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
I wonder sometimes. I mean, I actually know a lot of military people that, I mean, I know a guy that was in Iraq, and that surprised me, who actually got into the paranormal. And I think, I mean, with my friend in Iraq, I was very careful with him, because he was often looking for his lost, you know, the lost colleagues, and he wanted to know confirmation, life after death. And I suppose with policemen, I think that's similar in a way, because sometimes we are surrounded by evil acts, you know. There's a bit of us that wants to know that there's something better out there, you know. So I do think that
or that there is a reason why they're acting that way. You know, some of these people could be like possessed, or have attachments, or have some kind of, you know.
But I think the investigation never leaves you. The investigative side never leaves you, you know. I always find the curiosity has always been there. You know, there is the thrill when you're a young police officer and your lights are flashing and you're going after someone. That wears down as you get older and you realise it's not quite like that.
As fun as you thought it was.
Yeah, but you know, it's
that's going to be scary, because you never know what you're going to be walking into.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe what gives you the. I suppose that's why you've got the braveness to do what I do, because people say to me, why do you go in these haunted buildings? And I say, well, a lot of time it's because I'm a skeptic, because I've not yet seen that full apparition come towards me. I said, but once I see a headless ghost walk up to me or something like that, I'll probably run out like the best of us.
I had a little girl run right through me.
Yeah.
Ran right through me, hit me like a sack of potatoes.
Did you see the little girl run?
I didn't see her. I felt her.
Felt her.
I heard her. I heard the footsteps going, you know, down the hall.
Yeah.
And, all right, let me tell you what happened. We were at Rolling Hills Asylum. We were all in the morgue. All right, there was 3 cameras in there, 1 way on the far end, 2 on this end. 1 was fixed, 1 was in Sue, that girl, in her hand. We were all filming in there. I heard something in the hall. So I went out into the hall, and all I had was a flashlight and a millimeter. That's all I had. Okay. Now, she heard something again back in the morgue, so she went back into the morgue with the camera. I'm left out there by myself. Then the millimeter went from 0 to off the charts as I'm hearing running up the tunnel toward me. Now they say there's a little boy there. But this thing hit me, and it hit me, it knocked my wind up, my hair. Blue, everything. I screamed. I never scream. I'm not scared of anything, right?
Yeah.
I screamed, and then because I screamed, she came out of the door. I'm trying to go in the door. The only thing that was coming on film was crash, 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 crash. Ah!
Yeah. It's funny you should.
And that was
it's funny because we ask for these things to happen, and when they do, sometimes we scream, we shout, and we jump a mile. And I had the same thing happen to me. I was in this haunted place, and it was apparently a child, and I suddenly felt something come towards me, and I jumped a mile because it was the first time I'd ever felt it. And I felt something and the guy next to me said I could feel the wind, and I just said, well, I just felt like something was running to me. Now the medium said to me, it's a child, and all he's doing is he's holding out his arms and he wants to say hello to you because he's used to you, and you've gone and run away. You've gone the opposite way.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but you don't know,
No.
There's a lot more than just a little boy. I got small children singing "London Bridge is Falling Down" on record. They sound far away, but you can clearly hear them. Yes. Oh no, there's tons.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's just that one little girl that ran through me there. There's a lot of activity there.
Yeah.
Roy, I got Roy. I don't know if there's a picture on here. I got him walking down on the flea, down the hallway. He's a gentle giant. He was over 7 feet tall, and I don't know if I have that picture on here.
I don't think so. So what was Rolling Hills?
Pictures, the top ones are Roy going down the hallway, and we were all sitting there, so you could see the difference between what is actually, the people are hot, and the other one was at Burnbury Mansion, and that was the apparition that groped my friend Sabrina, and I caught him doing that, but yeah, I mean, like Rolling Hills has a lot. What going on there. So we always got evidence every time we've gone there, no matter what.
Yeah.
Visual, audio, everything. Shadow hallway. There's a shadow hallway where it really happens. I mean, the shadow that comes down the hall, it's like blacker than black.
Yeah.
Develops the whole.
I've been at a location when suddenly you've seen like a black silhouette of something come towards you, and it just gets blacker and blacker. And everyone's wondering what's going on, and some of the newer ones get quite frightened at that stage. I'm going to have to come to the States to that place, though. That looks amazing. It really does.
Oh, we got tons of here. I'll tell you, there's a lot of locations. I want to go to the UK.
Everyone says that, it's usually the grass isn't greener, I guess, because I want to go to the US.
You've done them all. But I mean, like, what on your bucket list? You said Ohio State. I mean, I would say out of all the prisons, if you're going to go to a prison, go there. Out of anywhere in the United States, right? But on my bucket list, if I could go anywhere and be like dropped off and be alone, I'd go to Poveglia Island.
Yeah.
And I would.
A lot of people say that one. Yeah.
I would want to be there and be there by myself. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would be in heaven.
That would be great. I mean, it would be your own little ghost island, wouldn't it, for that moment? And there would be so much people watching that and interested. It would be fantastic. It'd be amazing.
It would be. It really would be. I mean, if I had all kinds of money or billions of dollars, I don't know what it is because I don't think you can go there.
Yeah.
I saw only one show, 2 shows maybe that ever had a film crew there. But, I don't know what kind of hoops you have to go jump through to get there. But, man, I'd do them all if I could get there. Jump through every hoop. You line them up, I'll jump through them. I'll dive. I'll roll. You tell me, I'm going. Anywhere in the world. Oh, Taryn. Taryn is my ghost buddy here.
She's our Gettysburg expert.
She's.
Oh, Gettysburg, yeah.
Yeah, she's
That's
my Gettys girl.
That's one of my real bucket list ones.
Oh God!
Because I think England, we love the old movies, the old seeing the wall, the West as it was, and the Gettysburg, the battles, and everything else. So there's a lot of us that would love to go there, just to be there, actually, to see that. And we've got a few in the UK though that we've done where they had the English Civil War, and there's one where they've actually got a ghost of, they call him the it's the porridge oats man that used to wear the dark hat. I don't know if you've seen it over there, but that a lot of people describe him like that. Oh, is that someone from Newcastle?
Yeah, Stanley Jamie. Newcastle. Pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Yeah, and Taryn says you have to go to Gettysburg. Yes, you do. Gettysburg is unbelievable place. I was there with a broken leg one time, and all my friends were out in the fields, and I was just standing up by the by one of the posts, one of the signs, and then I came across, and I had the FLIR in my hand, so I started doing the FLIR again. I've had the best luck with the FLIR ever, but I got EVP on the FLIR. So I'm looking around, and of course I got a broken foot, so I'm all cast and all this stuff, and I said, is there a medic? I need a medic. I really need help. And then I got an EVP that says, what side? Or whose side? It was either what side or whose side.
Yeah.
So it's like whether I'm going to get help or not, as if I think I needed to be from the South. And I'm from Massachusetts originally, so I'm not a Confederate.
Yeah.
So,
Well, anytime you got Gettysburg, give me a call and I'll fly over, no matter how much it costs.
Well, I live right by Gettysburg.
Yeah, exactly.
Away from me. So we're going there in August for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash.
Oh, amazing.
So I'll be speaking there. So come see me. Right? I'll be just doing a paranormal roundtable type thing with the girls. They're going to do a girls one and a guys one, and then they have a whole bunch of other great speakers and great guests and stuff, vendors. We're going to be selling all. We do ghost gear, so we'll be selling all our stuff. Taryn, you should be there, right? So.
Gina, that ghost thing you do, you've got a little coffin where it makes musical notes. I've seen that. That looks pretty. What's the notes like? Can you set? Yeah.
This thing, I'm going to be playing an ad.
It's quite a unique little contraption, that one, isn't it? It's quite spooky if you have an event with people.
Yeah. This is one that's not done yet. So it's not done. It's just decorated, and it's got a fox on it for me, Pete Fox, and some fox and some skulls and stuff. But he drills the thing here. The sensor goes here. The power button goes here. When you open it up, there's a speaker inside, and all his magic is in there. And so when you first turn it on, the music, and there's a light on the top. So the music and the light will go off, and then it will stop, and then sets itself. So you point it in a direction. Now it goes out in a V pattern. It's regular motion detection. So if something briefly goes in front of it, the light will light up and the music will sound really briefly. If something stays, like something is walking towards you, or something is just continuously walking back and forth there, the music and the light will stay on longer.
Good grief, yeah, that's good.
So you know who to talk to. And it goes up to 30 feet, and a good 30 feet, and wide. So you've got a great array, because he uses really good, like some other people make things like this. They don't use as good of a sensor, so it doesn't go as far, or it won't go as wide, you know? So Bob, that's Bob. Yes, Mama.
Wait a second. I might be biased because I got a thing for his calves, but nobody can make what Bob does because Bob is Bob.
Bob is yes, he's very, he's got to put really good stuff in his, like me.
He makes sure that.
And
look, you two fit, because when she made the first 6 boxes, I threatened her from she wasn't happy with them. And I know how much work she puts into them. So she says, I'm going to have to redo them. I said, if you redo them, you will not see this face live for the next 6 shows.
I'll tell you that. There'll be a market over here for them. Definitely. UK would love it. I saw it, and I will advertise it on my thing, because a lot of the groups over here will love that. They absolutely will.
Oh, cool.
Is the shipping over there is like very expensive.
Yeah.
So
what they're using a lot over here at the moment is those little kitten balls that cats play with and move. You probably got them over, and they flash lights. People are getting excited about that, but I say that they're very easily activated, so I'm not so keen on those, to be honest.
See, I like things like how this will be, is because it's a deliberate interaction. You know what I mean? So we make Bob makes a static dome that's, it needs interaction. So
it needs interaction,
It's static. If there's static, static electricity, you can make static electricity. But they say, when a spirit manifests, it's, static. So, there's a static dome. There's, hold on. I just happen to have some stuff over here.
She's always got it. They have a bag. It's like a maternity bag.
Yeah.
When the woman's ready to go for a baby, they got a bag filled with stuff. Gina's ready to go at any moment.
I know. My bag is always packed. Yes, I'm ready to go investigate.
We could do the shopping channel now, couldn't we?
I know,
We could do
yeah. Seriously, good.
And this is for vibration. So when you turn this on, you know, you can set it too for sensitivity. So you can make it, that would be max. I mean, it will go off like constantly. But you turn it on once and it's very low vibration. So if your floor is bouncing, look at it, it's already going because I'm moving, you know. But I like things, again, it's a deliberate interaction. You have to have vibration, movement, you know, to make this go off. HTO, same thing. You hook it up to an item.
What do you think about
touch it?
What do you think about the traditional K2 meters and all the
K2, they have everything has a reason, you know, why you're doing it. So if your K2 goes off, or a millimeter, or anything that reads EMF, if your EMF is going high, there's a reason for it. Either something's emitting it, and if you're in a place like a cemetery and EMF is going off, there's nothing electrical around you to cause that. You know, too, because I mean they use the EMF meters, K2 meters, electricians do.
You do see a lot of these I would call them amateur groups where they have their social, you know, they have their mobile phones on. And they think that they've been communicated to because they haven't turned their phones off, you know, and that's frustrating.
Like EMF for that because they'll get set off by those things. So that's why I said, like, I like things like this. It's a deliberate thing.
It's a good one, Definitely.
It's not going to be a false positive. It's a deliberate thing. You know, you can set off REM pods with your, and I hate REM pods. I really do. It's like the worst thing. They should all be. I just don't want them. You have to reset them too, you know. So you set it up, you know, 5 miles down the cell blocks, you know, and someone turns on the walkie-talkie and that thing goes off. Someone's going to walk 5 cell blocks.
What makes me laugh about REM pods is the teddy bear ones as well, because sometimes I'll put them in the most silly places where there probably wouldn't be children, you know, and they've got these teddy bears, and if I was a ghost, I'd probably want to throw the teddy bear at the person that's actually trying to, you know, communicate with me. We
make trigger prop cats and dogs, but realistic ones, and we have all kinds. You'll see them on the video. All kinds of really real looking things. I have a fox because I'm the pet fox, you know, but I'm the only one who has a fox. And I've only used it in Gettysburg, and that's the only place it's ever gotten. I put it out in the field, and that's the only place that got any kind of interference, you know, action with it anyway. Well, that and up in New York, one of the places we went to in New York.
Bob, where was it? It's in the chat room.
Water place there, like the 5 places. Bob, what is it? Uh-oh, we lost him.
He touched something.
What is it that we go to? Geez, why can't I think of the name of it? It's way upstate New York. There's the channel is right there. Erie, I believe it is. The Quilt Museum is there, and
all
that kind of stuff. Hi.
It did that the other day. It must be paranormal.
The spirits are messing with you.
The last few days, my phone has just gone. It crashed for no reason. Probably because I got it on Wi-Fi. You were saying about, because when you mentioned New York, I was looking at a place I went to, New York. It's a church in New York, and they say the bells go off at night. I'm trying to think where that was.
Oh, here we go.
I just finished.
There's one of our dogs. This is Archie. Look at him.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
that is great.
Yeah. So,
have you seen my little Chihuahua dog? My Chihuahua dog would love that.
But this got mechanical bits in there.
You turn him on and off by a little button on the collar. So he's got 2 modes. He's got musical mode and.
So the name escapes me, but there's a place in New York where they reckon.
The REM pod mode.
Yeah.
I like the musical mode better. That's awesome.
Is that the one that Bob doesn't like?
Yes, because he's so small and hard to work on because he's a big guy. But I think he's so cute. Oh, I love him. Thank you for bringing him up. Hey, do you have any crypto cords built?
On?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bummer. They're going out so fast. We had so many orders.
Go downstairs and build one before the show's over.
He's working on 8 of them right now. Oh, yeah.
Well, just go finish one. He's got an hour and 20 minutes.
It's going to be busy.
So that's one of the we have new ones, but we've got, like, the hound dogs and bulldogs and labs and oh my God, huskies and all kinds of things. And
I think it adds, because I do events sometimes where I take people, the public, and they love all the gadgets, even though I can be a bit skeptical about things. I think it adds to it, if you've got a creepy looking doll and you put it down as a trigger object, it kind of gives the atmosphere for the public. That's not making things up. That's just what it does, and they love that.
Right. Well, that's where, like, some of the other equipment comes in handy too. So if you put the doll down that doesn't have anything attached to it, if you take the HTO, which has a cord that comes out of it, and I think I have one here.
She probably does.
But
give her those magician things where they kept pulling stuff out of the bags forever.
It's like pulling a rabbit out of the bag. Yeah.
And this is the cord. So the cord goes in the top, right? And then that's hooked up. And then you can hook this tip directly to anything metal, or you can wrap it around something that's not. Okay. So now it's proximity meter. So if something touches it, this is going to light or sound. Okay. And you have to touch. Ghost hunters use that on Ghost Nation.
We did a one place where we had a doll and we had the things around it to make sure it motion detectors, and the women that were there that come for the event, they just ran out of the church. They couldn't. They could not. They said, "That's it. We're gone." They said, "We believe. We believe."
I know. Right? I love taking them skeptical people and turning their minds around. But I mean, I just I've been doing it for so long, and I have so much evidence, and I just know, and the conversations I have and what I live with.
But it's funny. It's funny you should say that, Gina, because I found I've done this for a long time, and I'm taking less and less out with me now. I like to just sit in the place and just listen to whatever happens. I tend to go back to the old days of it. I do. Do you? Yeah. Sorry, do I?
Have you ever just taken a compass with you? If a compass
I've taken a compass. I've taken a compass and all the old traditional things, and that's that's had effects. But yeah, I sometimes like just going there and listening and seeing what happens, and maybe that's not evidence for anyone else, but it's interesting, because I feel sometimes, I don't know if you feel this, you put a camera on and nothing will happen, and then the camera's off.
And you turn it off.
Yeah, and then all hell breaks loose. Yep.
Yeah.
All the time. Yep. Yeah. But I've been lucky. I've been fortunate. I've caught a lot on camera. As soon as something happens, I'm grabbing it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like geared to it. And some people will run and scream and did you see that? And it's like, no, I'm taking pictures of it. Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, you're staying put with
Yes. Yeah, I'll run to it. I don't run away from it.
Yeah, that's the good
I'd
thing.
be hauling ass the other way. Sorry, but
yeah, like I said, that little girl running through me was the only thing that it startled me, more than anything, but did scare me. But you felt it, and it felt weird. You know what I mean? I felt weird for a while.
Did you feel emotions? Did you get emotional? And
I knew it was a little girl. And
you
know what I mean? And she was playing. She was just running and playing. So she was happy, but she was running to the door to go outside. You know what I mean? So I was just in her way. And
because I don't actually know what it is. That's where I'm not a psychic or anything like that. Sometimes I will go into certain rooms and I feel they're not right, and I don't know why that is. I'll pick up an atmosphere and I'll feel like, oh, I don't want to go near there. But that's all I ever get with the feelings and that.
Yeah. I mean, I've always liked the equipment, but I can hear them. I hear tones too when they're in the room. I can actually even go deaf. It will like making me deaf if they're too close to me and I have to tell them to back off,
There's a lady that I take out, she's hard of hearing, and she says that because she's got this hearing, she can hear high frequency noises.
Yeah.
So she hears more than what we particularly hear, and sometimes she'll say, I can hear the woman singing. And I say, well, that's amazing. Can you ask the lady to make it louder for us that can't hear it? And she'll ask it to get louder, and suddenly you'll hear this audible noise as if something's singing in the background. Now, I was a skeptic and said, well, was it a fox outside or something in the graveyard? So that's me, because I missed the sound completely because I didn't have the recorder on. So I kicked myself for that one, because
don't you know? Oh, I mean, out of all the things I've caught, there's a lot that I've missed that we just experienced, and we just write it down. We'd write it down, we'd check it up to personal experience. And I used to have all these records and a lot of my EVPs I lost because 2 of my computers went down at once. And
it's nothing worse. When you lose EVPs, there's nothing worse than that.
Yeah. Oh, we have a new person here. Hello.
We have somebody from?
Hello.
I know who that is. Hey, you. Yes, that is.
Is that the blue guy?
Yes, that's the blue guy.
All right, he plays that.
He plays a Native American flute.
Native American flute. I love that. Do you you don't have anything like that around you, huh? Do you?
What's that? Sorry,
like Indian type tribes or anything like that going on anywhere?
No, because I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the USA is the fact that you go back to the old Native American way of living, the Indian tribes. I mean, back in the UK, I mean, we don't really have a lot of, we have a lot of history. We go back right to prehistoric times. So we have the old spooky cave. We've got a place called Wookey Hole where they reckon this old witch lived in the cave, and so there's that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
You do. That's true.
Yeah.
But you've got all the castles. That's why I put up this neat building.
Did he just say Wookey Hole?
Wookey Hole, yeah.
Wookie?
Wokey.
Okay, because I just sort of went to Star Wars Wookiees.
Wookiees, yeah. Yeah, the little Wookiees on Star Wars. Don't get me started on. My son is.
I'm gonna make a Star Wars thing because we're gonna.
My son is an absolute fan of Star Wars, and he made me watch all the series right from the beginning. Then he said, "Dad, I'll tell you what, can we watch it again?" Yeah.
The original one with that battle music, fight music that they always play.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a Star Trek box. I'm gonna have that music playing on it. We're gonna sell it at.
See, people that look for ghosts love the best things.
Of course. Yeah. You're gonna be styling and unique when you go. They're gonna know it's you. Because everybody else is gonna.
Mine's gonna have to have butterflies all over it. I don't know what kind of music you're gonna put to that one.
Well, something like the Angel Meadows.
Here we go.
Yeah. Power of Angels and stuff.
That's right. Okay. Get on it, Bob. Get to it.
Yep. You can probably see behind me. You can see I've got a toad in. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a toad skeleton of a toad. It used to be magic. They used to what they used to do. They used to get the toad, the skeleton of the toad, all the bones, and they used to throw it in the river. And where one bone went, if it went a different direction, they pick that bone up, and it would be magic. So that all goes back to witchcraft. That's my favorite.
Yes, you know what? Yeah. We're almost at break time. I want to ask you about that kind of stuff after.
Sure.
Folklore and the witchcraft stuff that you've studied. I want to ask that definitely after the break. Yeah. Ron, if we could find a porcupine, we'd make it for you. We would. Oh, and what was it? Black Swamp Medium? What's that called?
Adam.
Oh, that's Adam. Is his thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Adam's a pretty cool dude. We were supposed to have him on the show. You had him on your show, and then we were going to have him on this show. Yes. Telling you the talkie thing? No, the trigger prop. Like I just had a little Archie out. Yeah, Ron wants a porcupine. We have a lot of animals.
But who's going to touch the porcupine? Ow.
I know. I don't know how good of a response you'll get to it. Who knows? Well, what do you say? Why don't we go at this point?
Okay.
Take our little commercial break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll just have
cool.
Hour, right? So I'm going to play actually 3 commercials. 2 are ours, and 1 is for Chris. So here we go. Vortex first. The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear.
one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. He has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NAPA, and as lead in the popular local TV show Ghost Detectives, he has experience of how spirits could be seen or heard. Using this knowledge, he has manufactured equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. He is the only manufacturer of the popular lifelike trigger prop cats and dogs. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these prove to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HTO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing or moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HTO will light. It has a sound option as well. This device was used in Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that the spirits manifest using static electricity. Using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement. If a claim is footsteps in the hallway or stairwell, set the sensitivity and place the device in that area. Its band of lights will show a range of vibrations from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting the entire range. The EasyScan Ghost Boxes are very popular due to the ease of use. They are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is unique and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The V-Pod has a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device. It is a must-have in your gear bag. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher. Visit www.vortexghostgear.com to view all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with ghostly excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the USA. Visit www.ghostlyexcursions.com and join us on our next adventure. Welcome to Vortex Ghost Gear's newest addition to the paranormal equipment lineup. It's called CryptoCords, and this is a musical, motion-activated coffin-shaped box. The device works first by inserting 4 AAA batteries. Point the box with the white motion sensor in the direction you wish to monitor. Push the red power button to turn on the device. The music will sound and the light will turn on, only for a brief time as it sets itself. The box activates if something crosses or interacts within its range, stemming from the device's sensor in a V pattern to approximately 30 feet. If the barrier is broken quickly, as in if something walks in front of it briefly, the device will sound, the light will turn on, but only for a brief time, and then it will stop and reset itself. If something continuously moves in front of the device, the music will light and stay on longer. Keep waving your hand in front of the device to test that. Both the box and the music are customizable. As for the design, it can be almost anything, from our basic cross design to your team logo, to your favorite character, theme, or place to investigate, or if you have a haunted location. The music can also be almost anything. This we ask you to find and send to us. It has to be an MP3. Instrument only works best in up to 2 minutes. If your choice will work, we'll use it. As we custom build and hand paint each box, we always ask for your patience upon ordering. We create each box with pride and send as soon as we possibly can. We have so much more to offer at Vortex Ghost Scare. We welcome you to check out the site for all the paranormal equipment available, including our Trigger Prop cats and dogs, where there are some new additions to the kennel: the Dome, the V-Pod, the HDO, the Geophone, and IR lights. We ask you go to www.vortexghostscare.com and happy hunting.
And we have one more ad to play.
Most of you may know Chris Lee from being a frequent guest on the Fox Den. Chris Lee is a Canadian clinical hypnotherapist specializing in his system of past life therapy, which eliminates people's persistent aches, pains, fears and phobias, and debilitating emotions without prescriptions, medicine, unnecessary operations, nor ongoing therapy. Many of you already have his hard copy books from his Life in the Past Lane series, and some of you also know that if the books were not readily available, Chris has been very accommodating in sending those books personally. The books include Life in the Past Lane, Fears and Phobias, Aches and Pains, Crimes Against Humanity, with 2 more in the works. Book 5, History, Fact or Fiction, will be available soon. These are fascinating client true stories and testimonials confirming his system works. He can also teach you how to do a system as well. Currently, Chris is away for a prolonged period of time and is not able to send the hard copy books, but there is a silver lining. He has now made his books available as digital ebooks. To place your order, you can email Chris at book@pastliferap.com or visit the site www.pastliferap.com. While there, hit the shop button where you can see all the books and their descriptions. You will find the currently unavailable hard copy books priced at $15 plus shipping. You will also find the newly added ebooks, which are available for only $7.50 with obviously no shipping. The quickest way to start reading this amazing series. Payment is by bank, e-transfer, or PayPal. Go to www.pastliferap.com or email Chris at book@pastliferap.com to get your ebooks.
My God, I think we all need haircuts by the time we get done with all that.
That was fascinating. I've got to
Keep
find
telling me
Chris.
not to cut my hair, so shush.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, what were you saying, Richard?
That Chris, it was fascinating. The books he does.
Oh yeah.
I must reach out to him sometime and add him on my Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's really
awesome.
and his wife Debbie A. Anderson. She's
She is.
she's very gifted
She has
and
oracle cards.
yeah,
I got them all.
she's got a real oracle card created. Hi Linda, I love you. And yeah, see. Linda says, hi Bob, Gina, miss you guys a whole bunch. We miss you guys. We're gonna have to get together real soon. So it's finally time to start getting back in the public.
Yeah.
We're vaccinated. We can go. But yeah, those ads though. But Chris, he's been on the show many times. I met him before I met his wife, and he always said, "Oh, you gotta meet my wife. Meet my wife." And then we met her. Oh my God, we love her. And
Yes.
she's got a British accent. He's from Canada.
Oh
right,
yeah.
So you know.
Well, my best friend did pass life, but sadly she did die. She was a rescuer. She took on a lot of people, if they had bad spirits and things like that. And sad she died very young, which was quite tragic. But I always remember her because she was really good. She'd always tell me I'd have this bad spirit follow me around and she'd say she'd do whatever she did, and I did feel better afterwards. So it was intriguing.
Does she do like Reiki or something?
Yeah. She could also do it from the distance Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
They can do that. So she was, but I think she took on an awful lot, and sadly she did die of cancer. But I don't want to say it was because of that. But it was a shame. It was a shame.
You never know. You really.
We all dance with something at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The bad news is we're not going to make it.
Yeah. Well, that's
So was
the
it?
thing,
We're all
isn't
gonna. We're not getting out of here alive.
We're
Yeah.
Nope.
Can't
Nope,
can't
but-
take the money.
No.
Very
No.
true.
But Mama D's a Reiki master.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
But that is, that is like I was talking to a friend of mine today who was dealing with kind of a rough case, and she thinks someone has a cord. And I'm like, yeah, well, you just need a Reiki person to, cut that cord, scrape the energy away, get rid of it. It's energy manipulation.
Well, it's very true. I mean, if we're near people as well that are bad energy, we really pick it up, don't we? If you got,
Yes.
I mean, I got a friend of mine that's her friend's like a vampire. They're forever going with their problems, and she's saying, "I feel really down today." I said, "Well, ditch the friend." It sounds a bit hard as it sounds, but
Yeah.
she needs to learn not to take all your energy.
Grounding and shielding. And
Yeah.
if you don't do that, you'll be a blubbering idiot. You'll pick
Yeah.
up on everybody's things, and you can never leave your house.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. But you can, because some people cower in their homes because they're afraid to leave, because they do. They'll leave happy, and then they walk by someone who's sad, and then they're miserable, and then they
Yeah.
walk by someone who's, afraid of something, and then they're fearful, and then by the time they get home, they're a basket case.
Well, I find it when I come to the USA, I find it really refreshing, because I don't know if you find it about us English, but sometimes we can be so damn serious, I mean, I went over with my wife, and we were on this coach, and they turned around and they started chatting to me and my wife, and my wife said, "Who are these people?" I said, "It doesn't matter." I said, "That's the United States of America for you. They'll chat to anyone, they'll chat to you." And I said, "We're not in England now, where everyone's."
That's okay. I have a friend who's from. I have a friend who's from the UK, Eric Glynn.
Yeah.
He came over to the States to visit a friend. He stayed for a few weeks, him and his wife, and he thought it was going to be nice. And he's a pretty good cook, from the sounds of it, by the look of his waist. But he went into a shop somewhere in the States, and it was a rural state, and he asked the guy for a joint of beef. It was a little small town, and they were like ready to call the cops. No, I just want a joint. Come on, give me a joint.
Yeah.
Whoa, what is a joint of beef? What is it? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
It's a section of beef. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, but he was asking for a joint. That was the thing that because
But he wanted a joint of beef because he wanted to make a big barbecue. But they just, like, Gina is an American. It was like, what do you mean you want a joint? What the heck is that? I can't remember the cut of the beef it is.
Wow.
But it's
I mean, it's funny. It is funny, the difference in words that you do get mixed up. I think I said something in Miami airport that was completely different to the meaning, so they all kind of looked at me a bit strange, and it was only afterwards I realized what I'd said, because pants is trousers to us.
Suspenders and garters.
Yeah. So it is intriguing.
But you don't have R's in your language.
We don't have
when you,
bar.
Yeah, like say bar. A bar. If you're going into a bar.
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 How do you say bar? Bar.
Bar.
Bar for drinking. Drinking bar.
Yeah. But like I from Massachusetts, we say bar.
Yeah.
They forget the R. They drop the R.
Yeah. We have a barbecue.
They probably don't get they don't find the R probably until after a few drinks.
It's probably because in England we say the word pub a lot, so we find that quite easy.
Yeah.
Pub you can't mess up.
Yeah.
Nope. No R's in
Put
there.
our car keys and our car keys in the back with our cars parked in the Harvard Yard, all that kind of stuff. But when we say it, it's harsh. But when you guys say it, everyone's like, "Oh, I love the accent."
Yep.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, somebody said to me, "Do you come from London?" I said, "Well, there's lots of places in England.
Yeah.
There's not just London, but they assume that you come from London.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny how people think that who aren't from the UK just think everybody sounds the same.
Yeah.
It's like Canada. It's like the US. We all have different accents,
dialects, and that,
different dialects to each different thing. But it's like people just chill out. It's all the same.
I'm starting to realise that now that I've been travelling more. I've noticed the different dialects, but unless you travel around the USA, you really don't notice.
The United States. Oh my God!
Yeah.
From state to state to state, even in the states. in a state, north and south part of the state, you can have no R's, especially right we getting that close to that line between, North and Confederate, that line, right? Where we talked more like the British, and all of a sudden you're going from that to, well, y'all don't have the R's, or.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it in South Carolina. I loved it over there. When I went over there to hear that drawl over there was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Bless your heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really
bless your heart. Like,
there's two ways to get that. You're either getting insulted or they really want to bless your heart. So you got to learn what they're saying.
Do you know there's a shop in Boston that you go in where they insult you? Have you heard of that shop?
Yes.
They throw insults at you.
It's a restaurant that you go in.
And they put your hat on and they put bits on it. I thought it was hilarious. I went in there and they said, this guy needs Viagra. They put it on a thing. And my wife said, trust me, he doesn't need it. And I was laughing my head off. And this other guy who's English, who was with me on the cruise ship, he was really stuck up, and he got in there and said he needs to watch his hair. He's going bald. He was like, I want my money back. I got to get out of this place. They're insulting me. I said, that's what it's about.
Paying for, right?
You're paying to be insulted.
Gina, we got to go there.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious too.
It's hilarious. It really is.
Come on, hurry up. What do you want?
Yeah.
You want a drink? What do you want? You don't want that. Why do you want that?
And they throw your food down. The food is lovely, but they throw it down, and it's great. I still love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that would be
before they had that, the thing to do was the King's Castle thing out there, where you go and you dine with the king, and you don't get like silverware or anything, and you have permission to go to the bathroom. Yeah, they throw chicken and whatnot on the table, and they're all dressed up as the court. You have jesters and the king and this and that. They'll tell you what to do. If you get up to go to the bathroom without asking permission, you're in trouble. Right? Yeah. But it was a fun thing to do. It really was. But then
it's always fun to take someone that doesn't know anything about it. I find, someone's completely.
Yeah. But now talking about stuff I don't really know too much about, and that is, now you've studied the witchcraft things and folklore. Now, I'm interested in, the witchcraft I know a little bit about. I've had plenty of guests on here. I've had a few folklorists on.
Yeah.
More like the Viking type, Odin and all that kind of stuff, folklore or fairy lore. Now, what is it in the folklore? Is it religious? Is it what kind of folklore are you looking into?
Well, the folklore I look at is local to the places. I mean, we've got several islands. So we've got an island in Guernsey where, for example, they believe that if the cows in the field, if they if they're not knelt down or something, it's to do with the weather. So those can be traditional folklore that everyone knows. So I do study folklore in that sense. About different beliefs around the world and folklore. Witchcraft is where I've studied very immense history of witchcraft. There's a guy called Professor Ronald Hutton, which I would recommend you get hold of to really tell you about witchcraft, because he's a wonderful guy. He dresses up in the old traditional costumes, I basically, talk about, for example, in Guernsey, they've got the chimneys over there. They've still got seats on the chimneys where the witches apparently used to fly at night and sit on the ledges to rest between their flights. And they're called the witches' seats in that area. Ironically, I haven't got all my notes with me today. As I told you, what I've done is I even though I know a lot of things, I do write a lot of things down to try and remember. Yeah. Because I've recently moved into we've moved into our parents' home because it's got a lovely garden. They're no longer with us, but we had a choice of selling it, and we decided to keep that one because it's a better garden. So,
good reason.
Yeah.
But folklore. That can be anything. It's like the traditional at midnight, everyone makes a noise. You know, they bang lids and they bang things. Well, that years ago used to be to chase away bad spirits and demons.
Yeah, and
So
don't-
when we do make a
Don't
noise at midnight,
sneeze as you're going by a graveyard, or don't
Yeah.
breathe, and all those types of
there's a
things.
thing called on St. Mark's Eve, and that's what they call porch watching in a church. Now, if you've got a church porch, so that's the doorway of the church, the sextons, the people that used to bury the people, they used to stay there on St. Mark's Eve, which is April the 24th. And apparently they would see the people that were going to die in that year go past them. So they would know who they would be burying and who the business would be. So apparently a lot of people used to stand in the porches and look for living ghosts, really. Now, funny enough, I went to a church on St. Mark's Eve, and we were in there, and suddenly we heard all these people, all this talk, like people talking and chattering. And I said to somebody, I think somebody's coming in the church. So we went to the door, there was no one there, and it was on that date. And I said, what about if we've heard the ghosts of the people that used to be here on St. Mark's Eve, listening out for, you know, for the spirits and or looking for the people that were going to die. So that was an interesting folklore, which is based in England. So there's very different ones, you know, the black cat and all the other things and all the other, you know, type of things that you do.
I would want to take a recorder in there with me, you know.
Yeah. I have often taken a recorder into that particular church, and it's only occasionally I get noises. And the medium that was with me said that the gentleman that owns it is very, he won't mess around. He doesn't want to be on show, so he's not going to do it. He said he's done it once for you, so he won't do it again for you, or it'll only be on a special occasion. You know, that's interesting.
I try to catch them off guard.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going in especially if I'm going into a house with people having issues.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of digital recorders, you know, so like I'll turn it on before I even get there. You know what I mean? So when I walk through the door, I'll have it in my pocket, and then I'll just kind of slip it out, put it down, so like the spirit doesn't know. You know what I mean? And then I'll walk to the next room, and then that's recording in that room, and then I'll leave another one, and I'll leave another one, and I'll leave another one, and then I'll collect them later.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the stuff I get that way. You know?
But when you go around the world, I mean, you go to Malaysia, they actually believe that when you die, you need to evade a ghost, you've got to change your surname. You know, if somebody dies in the family, so they believe strongly in that. They also believe the soul, that our soul is the size of a thumb, and it haunts the grave for 7 days. So it's still there for 7 days after someone's died, which a lot of people still believe that we don't go completely, we don't cross over completely. So a lot of people, I mean, mediums say that, don't they? That you go into a resting place, and I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, here's my thoughts. This is what I say, and it's an easy way to put it. A ghost is someone who's died and is here.
Yeah.
Right? A spirit is someone who's crossed over and come back.
Yeah.
You know, and they're enlightened, and the spirit that comes back can be a spirit guide, can be a, you know, helpful. You know, the ghost is the fearful, still holding on to human emotions, afraid to cross over, afraid that they did something bad, they're not going to be forgiven. Their loved ones that they're afraid of, that they maybe have harmed, are over there. You know, why am I going to go over there and face that?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You know, and then they stay here and they torture the living. You know,
it's an interesting concept, because I went to a rescuing place where they had some mediums trying to. This woman had an attachment of a ghost, and as they were talking to her, she went into a trance, and she took on the voice of somebody else, as if it was the spirit. And it said, "I'm the ghost. I don't want to go to the light. I don't want to cross over. I am really scared." Now, I challenge anyone that saw that not to be moved, even if you're skeptical about it. It was very moving. She said that she missed her family, she missed her loved ones. She didn't want to go, you know, and sometimes I liken that a lot to that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You know, when I go to a place in a house, and it's like, I gotta, first of all, I have to talk to the people and find out what their issue is. Then I talk to the ghosts and find out what their issue are. You know, the spirits, what's your issue? You know, and then you try to make the two work together. If they two can't work together, one or the other has to go.
Yeah.
If it's the spirit that has to go, and if they are fearful of going, I just put it to them that, you know, because they'll be afraid that they can't come back and check on their loved ones. And it's like you can do whatever you want. Once you go over there, you will see how wonderful it is, and that you're going to see and know so much more than you ever thought possible. It is going to be so peaceful and so pure and so innocent and so full of love that you might not want to come back over here.
Well, they say that with after death experiences, when people have actually gone, the out of body experiences that people have. That I've never had that myself, but I've known people that spoke to me and said, I don't look at life the same way. I look at it completely different. And that to me is worth investigating more. And I think the science community is trying to investigate that in the UK, but a lot of people are holding back from it because we're very materialistic and we don't want to look into that. But it is very intriguing, that one, I think.
It absolutely is. And what happened to me was that I actually had a broken collarbone, and I accidentally OD'd on my pain medications, and I was dying.
Yeah.
And I had this whole experience, I was floating down the hallway. All these things were happening. I didn't know what was going on, but I was actually dying. And then right before I was to that final doorway, which was actually my parents' bedroom door, and I was trying to get to it to try to wake up my mother, but nothing was coming out. I could, things from my bedroom are going by me, floating. I can't grab them. And I kept on going forward in jerky motions. By the time I finally got close to that door, I realized I was dying, and now I'm trying to say, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Nothing would come out. And then all of a sudden I screamed it, I don't want to die. And then I slammed back into my body on the couch. And I was covered in sweat, and I had that broken collarbone. And that lodged it again out. Oh my God, what pain. Threw away the pain pills though. But that's, from that point on, is when Hi. I don't know. She's been having computer issues and internet issues.
I think mine's doing it now and then.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. What's the fuck then without a couple snafus?
I think
got a bit glitch.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a wonderful story. That's what wonderful what you said, Gina, about that. Because I think this is the thing that we need to look at more. Is there's a lot of people that are in hospice where their person's dying, and they talk about just before death they see the relatives coming there. Now, my stepfather, just before he died, I know he had a lot of morphine in him, but he pointed up to the ceiling and he said, "I'm not ready yet." And I jokingly, I said to my family, I said, I reckon he's waiting until his sister turns up. She turned up a week later and he died after. So that was something I'll always remember, seeing him point up and say, "I'm not ready yet."
Yeah.
So,
And then when I got back, because that's when I started hearing the tones in my ear when the spirits were around. I didn't know what it was at first, because it's there's 3 different tones. There's a low tone, a medium tone, a high tone. The medium and the high tones, I'm not nervous because I know they're good spirits.
Yeah.
The low tone, I'll get a little nervous of. Do
you think that made you into a believer when that happened to you? Did that make you really become the believer in things?
More so.
Yeah.
More, definitely. And more wanting to get into the field actively.
Yeah.
I've always been interested in it from childhood. Always. Always been fascinated to it. I always watched, those ESP shows and everything. Everything else. Me and my friend used to try and do that all the time. We'd try to send messages to each other from our houses, all that kind of stuff. We used to really enjoy that. I did see some spirits, my grandparents. I saw both my grandparents. My grandfather appeared to me. My grandmother appeared to me when they died. I could hear my grandfather. I could see my grandmother. I see her mouth moving, but no sound.
Yeah.
I heard my grandfather. He kept saying, he stuttered. He was a little Italian. He said, "The grub my feet, the grub my feet, the grub my feet." In the stutter. And I told my mom, and I was little. I told my mom, and she's like, "Oh my God," because he had just passed away, and he used to complain. He was at home in bed, and he used to say gremlin-like things are trying to grab his feet at night. And
yeah.
Put blankets on. So I didn't know that. So
I think it's very different when it's personal to you, to when you're going out researching and investigating, because whilst I try to be skeptical and look at things, one personal thing that did happen to me, my father-in-law died, and when he died, he was a joker. He always joked about, because France, for instance, we were in a hill in Spain once, and he he suddenly come out and he had a candle, and he said, "Come on then, we're trying to call you Vera." That was his wife who had died. And he said, she ain't coming. She always was an awkward one, like that. And that's how he was. He was like that, matter of fact, and a joker. I mean, he missed his wife dearly, but he joked about things. He had a sense of humor. Now, he always joked about me being the ghost hunter. And I remember when he died, I had to sort out everything back home. And I said, I don't know, Ken, I've got to sort everything out. And my iPhone started ringing the local crematorium, the local, cemetery.
Really?
And I looked at it, Siri wasn't on, so I hadn't said call the crematorium, and it wasn't a call I had made. So I jokingly said, I bet that's you, Ken, saying, I can't, you'll have to ring there now to get an answer. And I look at it as a bit of fun or a message. So that is one thing that happened to me, which really threw me a little bit and said, there's something more going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that happened, too, to me was my husband passed away.
Yeah.
And he was 50, but he passed away. And one of the paranormal teams I was with, that girl, walking the thing. We did a lot of things together. But
that's also be remembered for in whole entire life is locking my Gina B in his cell.
In solitary confinement at Ohio State.
Yeah.
But it was dark. It was scary, but it was great. But we went. She wanted to go to a psychic. She wanted to see if she could get a hold of her father. Blah blah blah. So we went to see Gary McKinstry.
Yeah.
In Douglas, Mass. He's like one of the best psychics I've ever seen. But we walked in. I walked in. First of all, he was like going like this to me. He's like really bright. So I had two really bright, like angelic type things with me, and an entourage, which was my husband and his entourage, right? Because he couldn't go anywhere by himself, ever. Couldn't go to the store by himself. He'd call up 50 people to see who can go with him, right? So he always had to have people around him. This really larger than life guy. If you walk into a room, he had to be the center of attention, and stuff. So he's with me. Now, the house we had together, I'm an artist and a tool belt diva and all the, muralist and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like faux painted murals, this, that, all over my house. Well, we built this big addition, and this was actually my final project for design school. I actually designed it, and we actually built this thing. People are doing mock things. I did a real thing. So I built this 20 by 20 addition, vaulted ceilings, humongous fireplace. Everything.
Wow, yeah.
We painted
amazing.
Beige.
Can you see the way she says it?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
And I put a border in there, and that was about it. This is the only thing decorative. So he always said, whatever you do, I don't care what you do the rest of the house. Just can you leave my living room alone? I'm like, all right. So after he passed away, one of the first things I did was I Tuscanized that whole room. I mean, I full painted that thing, floor to up over the ceiling, stenciled it. I took down his deer head. His deer head came down, and Tuscany went up there. All these Tuscan pictures and everything, and stained glass, you name it, it was all in there. So I go to the psychic, and he goes, I got to start with you. And I said, yeah, but we're here for her, And he goes, no. He goes, there's this big, tall, blonde guy, and he's sitting behind me, and he's looking at him because he was sitting behind him, And he goes, he's stretching out his legs, he's stretching out his toes, because we used to go fishing on the beach, and he hated sand in his toes, and he always would put powder between his toes, so he always did, like he could stretch his toes out. He's doing this, and I said, yeah, that sounds like Mark, right? And he goes, well, Mark's got a bone to pick with you. He's mad at you for something. And I'm like, thinking to myself, what could he be mad at me for? You know what I mean? what did I do?
Acting all innocent, but yeah.
He says to me, he leans forward, he goes, he's telling me you girlied up his living room. I almost died. I was like, are you kidding me? Now, I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. Yeah, I never met him.
Incredible. Yeah.
How would he know this, without Mark telling me this, And then went on to say a whole bunch of things. But now what that guy gives you is a cassette tape, like the old, like a Walkman, one of them.
Yeah, the old,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so he gives you one of those of the session when you leave. Now, I went home and I'm listening to that. You wouldn't believe there's EVPs on that thing. So
I can well believe it. I've known that to happen, yeah. Yeah.
I'm
When you,
hearing Mark saying like they were talking about huntings. I said, yeah, I took down the
yeah.
deer head, and then he went into the psychic, started talking about hunting around the area, and Mark used to hunt around that area and go to a lot of these events that he was talking about. They were talking about something that you go and you shoot all
Yeah.
these things like a course or something. I don't know. It was a thing, and you'd go through all these different setups, and you hear in the background going bang bang, shoot the pumpkins, and all these things are like the EVPs, and I'm going, what the heck? It was the craziest thing.
Well, they do believe that when the medium's picking it up, it's almost like a voice, an audible voice that we won't hear, but they can pick up. And I think it's probably. I mean, I would recommend anyone when they go and see a medium and they get a good reading to take a voice recorder and give it a go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's when I was just like, you know what? I started bringing recorder. I was like, have recorder, will travel. I wouldn't leave the house without recorder. I always had a recorder, in my car, so wherever we went, we could, run into someplace and record. We always say,
there's a lady in Portugal called Annabelle Cardozo. I don't know if you've seen that at all. She's on Facebook, but she's written a book about that she's had really good results with electric voice phenomena, and she says that they call the place a specific place that they're calling from. I can't think what it's like, Spirit Land, like a radio station. They call it a specific place where they're actually in contact, and it's very feasible. I mean, they've had a lot of results with it, and I'm hoping to visit her and give you more on that kind of story. That would be intriguing.
That I would really like.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I've not heard about that.
Yeah.
Like I know about like thinking about Jonice, about like Akashic Records, about like where they go, where they convene. Are they, is there like a revolving door there that they can go in and there's people working on records and you can leave there and come out anywhere, and bridges, and like there's 50 billion theories. The only thing is you can't really prove any of them.
Yeah.
Really, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, like I know what we have for evidence. Like I know the spirits are here because I've caught so many of them. Always. And
Is that in the home? You've had it in the home as well. Okay. Have you picked up? Yeah. Well, you said, didn't you, about the husband? Because I still feel now and then, even moving into our parents' home, it's a lovely feeling. It's a peaceful feeling. But every now and then you get that feeling that if you go and move something that's my mother-in-law had in a particular place, I know she's looking down, not too happy about it. So
yeah.
I
got into. This is why I stayed away from the field. Is because I was doing interior design work. So I was ripping things apart. Spirits used to get mad at me, but it was poo-pooed upon in that.
Yeah.
Whole field. And then I finally got to the point where, like, you know what? I don't care.
Exactly.
It's what because this is what I want to do. So I decided to do it. Because I know that they're watching me. They're doing this and that here. Now this is not the house that I live in with my late husband. I moved. I'm in. That house was in Massachusetts. But here, there's 3 distinct spirits that are in this house, and they each have their own floor. There's the guy that's up on the 3rd floor, the lady that's on this floor, and then the last woman that had the house, is on the 1st floor in her sunroom. That's her favorite room, and she just stays out there. But the guy upstairs, I've been working upstairs, and like ripping down wallpaper and painting and patching and repairing, all kinds of stuff. So I've been up there. Now, I was in the room right at the top of the stairs. There's a little teeny room that goes between the 2 bedrooms. So I'm working there. I shut the door tight to this one bedroom, and he's always in the big room that I've been working on, been painting and fixing and everything. He's always in there. So now he's not in there because I'm like got that room destroyed, and he's in that other room. And I had to actually scrape the top of the door to get it to shut tight.
Yeah.
Because it's so old. And I did. I got it to shut tight. It clicked. It was shut tight. Well, apparently he didn't like that. He wanted to watch me. So I'm standing on my plank ladder, step ladder, and I'm working above the door that comes up into that room. So 3 doors. This is the room that he's in. So I'm up there working, I'm scraping the stuff away, and all of a sudden the door unclicks. See, it's like the knob has to turn, unclick, and the door opens. So I just looked over and I went, you really gonna watch me? I'm just scraping them up. I've been doing the same thing for a week.
And now you're going to bother.
Anything. You're not missing anything. But he had to watch, so I was like, all right, fine. So I stopped shutting the door.
It is amazing when you see the things that go on. I when I was younger, I mean, the only thing I can think of when I was young was my family were very, very religious, and I was the result of an affair. So my mum had an affair, I'll be honest about it. And my stepfather was very religious. And when they went away on holiday, I loved it. Of course I did. I was a young man. I was getting all the alcohol in, having the parties and all that. And I'll never forget this one night when I got it all ready. I went upstairs and it was like thump, thump, thump up the stairs. And it was like something was pushing on my bedroom door. And I went, okay, thinking it was my siblings, my half siblings. So I opened the door. There was no one out there. And I always joked since, thinking it was my granddad or my uncle saying, you're going to have a party, lad, but you be careful, So and I'll always recall that, and it was weird. It was something I experienced when I was young. I did have that happen again when I was in a place called Skirrid Inn, which is a pub in Wales where they used to hang people that stole sheep, simple little things like that. And I was in that pub, and suddenly I heard thump, thump, thump coming up the stairs. I'm filming live, and it was again pushing on the door. I stayed in that room for the rest of the night, and I said, I'm not going to film anymore, because I had that same feeling. So that was strange, yeah. So, it's often the personal ones like that really get to you, I think, that are intriguing, yeah.
Never forget it, yep.
Did you get that, Mama D? Have you ever had any personal things? Nothing at all.
Nothing that I can. For me, it's nothing that I can prove.
Yeah.
My mother passed on my 55th birthday because I asked her to the day before. I said she'd been sick and she'd been fighting it.
Yeah.
And when my brother called and said she's gone, and I was, okay, went through all the thing,
Sure.
and then the first time I ever spoke about my mother, when I was doing a show, I wasn't in this office. I was in another one in the house. And I said, with my mother, it was always about the number 3.
Yeah.
And as I said that, the light in my office blinked 3 times.
Yeah.
It never blinked before, and it never blinked since. So that to me is my mother saying, could you stop talking about me on the air?
That's precisely what it is. It is. I mean, I had that with the phone, and I believe that was probably my father-in-law, because I was very close to him. And I think it's personal to you, and it's yes, I'm skeptic, and often I look at other things like psychology and other things, but with that, I still can't explain it. I can't say why my phone suddenly did that, like you with the light at that particular moment. People say coincidences, and I say, well, in the end, synchronicity, but you end up with an awful lot of synchronicity in this game, and an awful lot of coincidence, and then you start thinking there's a little bit more. I mean, what I would love to, I know it must be frightening, but what you've had, Gina, where you've had that kind of out of body experience, near death, I would personally, I'm not saying I want that particularly.
I know.
Okay.
But what it leaves people is amazing.
Your wife might want to kill you for that moment.
That
She's
really
probably
close.
waiting upstairs.
That was really close. I mean, if I had just kept going with the curiosity part of it, I would have floated through that door, and probably I would have been gone.
No way.
But it was like I knew, all of a sudden I just knew. It's like, oh my God, I'm dying. Oh my God, But for the longest time, as I'm going down the hallway, and I would just jump forward, and the more things are going by me, and I'm trying to grab them, and I couldn't. And the closer I got, I could grab them, and then I'm trying to throw them at the door, and they disappeared when they trying to hit the door. And I'm like, oh my God, nothing would come out of my voice. I was just like, oh my God.
What they're finding interesting is that this is universal throughout the world. This the feeling that you get, or the experience you get, in after death, experience is universal. So they're saying, that many cultures experience the same kind of thing. They're seeing the bright light, they're seeing all that. I mean, I know a friend of mine who poo-poos it. She's a psychologist, and she says that it's part of the dying brain, and you pick up things. I know there's all those theories, but then there's another guy that argues that he put something on top of a cabinet. He put some words on a cabinet so that if anyone did have an out of body experience, they'd be able to read those words. And they brought back the words. Another one that's incredibly convincing is this guy had an out of body experience, and the nurses went to him and said, I'm sorry, your husband nearly died. He had an out of body experience. But he kept saying, why am I seeing John? Why am I seeing John? And the sister froze on the spot, and she said, that's because his other brother John died, but we haven't told him yet. Now, to me, that's convincing.
Yeah.
You know, because if that is true, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
But
because
if you really want to have an out of body experience, then go study with the shaman, because they do that. You know, just astral project and don't have a near death experience. You don't want to do it that way.
The shamans are amazing.
Shamans are really cool, and they do that. And then, you know, they can remote view, they can remote heal, they can, you know, like Mike, right? He can remove spirits from. He lives in Virginia, and he's removed spirits all the way up to Indiana. You know what I mean?
I've had lucid dreams where you wake up in a dream and you can feel the grass, you can feel the wetness in the air, the rain, and you know that you're dreaming. And you can almost direct your dreams, and they're incredible, you know. But it's funny because when you have a lucid dream, it's almost as if there's a law of karma that you cannot do anything bad in that dream. Like I saw a nice car in my dream, and I thought, I'm going to nick the car because I know I'm dreaming, so it doesn't really matter, even though I'm an ex-policeman. So I thought in my dream, I'm going to nick it. But when I go to nick it, I wake up. So there must be something controlling what you do in your dream. Yeah,
it's you. It's your
I think
conscious. You know right from wrong.
Yeah,
that's an instinctive thing that's in all of us. We all know right from wrong, really, and it's really the psychopaths that you would have to deal with. As a police officer that don't have that. Right.
People say to me, you know, is there evil? Is there bad ghosts? And I always say to people, well, if you believe in ghosts, if you believe they're people that once lived, then you're going to have evil ones, because people can be evil. And, you know, there have been many stories of places where murders have happened and some evil entities have come through. So, yeah, of course. I mean, you know, you're not going to get very nice people there. You know, you're going to get nasty ones.
Yeah, if they were liars in life, they're going to be liars in death. If they were, you know, greedy, and, you know, that's when things are missing, because they're still greedy. There's the thief. They still want this. They want that. They're still like trying to, all the human emotions.
Yeah.
Trying to afford. It's love, lust, hate, fear. You know, all the human things that make us who we are.
Yeah.
All those emotions are still there, and that's the fear barrier that's keeping them here. But then they learn, and then they can become powerful, and they can become dangerous, and they can throw things, and they can hit you with things, and they can knock things over on you, and they can harm you. So that's the problem with these people, like we were talking about at the beginning, you know, of going in and kicking down the door and, you know, demand them to, you know, punch me, scratch me, this, that, and the other thing. Well, you know what? You could just well get that, or everybody in the room could get that too. So please don't do that.
Yeah.
And it can be very harmful. So, you know, people have to tread lightly. They seriously do.
There's also a story where when in witchcraft, if a witch put a spell on you, you would actually go and draw blood of the witch. You would actually scratch the witch's arm to try and get rid of the spell. And I went with a lady who was, you know, and I've got loads of friends that are pagans, and witchcraft nowadays, and witches are fine, you know, I know the history of witchcraft. But she was in this place, and she suddenly had this awful scratch on her arm, and she said, it's because they think I'm a witch. You know, this is a religious place, and they're scratching me because I'm a witch. That was quite intriguing to see, and the mark was quite distinct. But
there's nothing more powerful than blood magic, you know.
Yeah.
And then that it can be good. Anything is good or bad, you know. It doesn't matter what it is. Any realm, any job, whatever, has good and evil. You know, every race, everything has good and evil. You know, nothing is separated. But it's what you run into and how you handle it is a
Yeah.
whole other story. You know, you need to stay calm, especially if you're taking people. Now, you take people, I take people. Mama D's going to come when she comes to the States one of these times. She's going to come, you know, Bob and I take people to ghost hunts and stuff.
You've got to be very careful of people that have got strong psychological needs and worries. I mean, there's nothing wrong in, we've all suffered depression. We've all suffered anxiety. I think the whole world is probably on some form of antidepressant because of what we've experienced in life. And so there's no shame in that. But what I'm saying is you've got people that are really susceptible that would not be good at a ghost hunt, you know. I had a woman that she said she was so scared afterwards that this was following her, that was following her. And I said to her, I recommend that you don't go on a ghost hunt anymore and try not to think of these things because it was so powerful for that person.
Right. Yeah, I try to get everyone, you know, to ground and shield themselves.
Yeah.
What is it, Mama?
I have a comment. Richard, Gina was saying how that eventually I'm going to go up to her and her and Bob are going to take me on a ghost hunt. And then you said you had to be careful about those crazy people. And I'm paraphrasing. And then it's like, is that what he was talking about?
Well, I think I'll join you on that, Mama, because I think I'm known as the crazy as well. So
I'm psychotic. I have my moments, but nobody's supposed to know about them. Sorry.
We state all the time too before anyone comes on and goes on. You know, if you show up and we smell alcohol in your breath,
Oh yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not giving you your money back either. You know, if you're drunk or if you're on drugs, obviously, you're out. You know why? It's because you're a target. You know, you're easily manipulated.
Very much so.
Spirit, you're
I've seen that happen live where somebody has been under the influence, and I've seen them taken quite ill at a haunted place. No one was aware of it. It was done very discreetly, and I have seen the results of that. And you know, skeptic or not, I thought, you know, straight away they shouldn't be there. Number one, they're a risk because they're walking around old buildings, and you know they can be a risk that way. But no, you're totally right. You've got to be sound mind, and you've got to be, you know, it's not. You know, when people say about, oh, I'm going to go on a ghost hunt for a hen night or stag night, or I'm just getting married and things like that, you know, that's fine, but leave the alcohol, leave the drugs, you know, don't get absolutely paralytic. And yeah.
When you leave the ghost hunt, you can talk about it. Drink yourself to oblivion after that. That's fine. I don't care what you do when you're not on my watch. But on my watch, we'll be protected.
Very much.
We'll be careful. And that's when my tones come in handy.
Yeah.
If I hear that low tone and I have a group with me that might be susceptible or scared or whatever, I will lead them away from that low tone. That low tone, that negative thing can stay over there all by itself. And then
so you believe it's on tones? You believe a low tone could be negative?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's very interesting because I never looked at it like that. Because one of the events I've done or a place I've looked at a lot of times, there is a very low tone, and when we do get that particular individual or whatever it is, the girls there don't feel safe at all, you know, and it is quite a gruff, low. It's almost like a growl you get as well with the you know. So it's something, either a negative spirit, something other than that, but it's definitely, it's not, you know, for the most part, and that is very rare, you know what I mean, but for the most part, the spirits are okay. They're helpful. They're, you know, grandma, grandpa, you know, aunts, uncles, you know, people that were in that facility, whatever. For the most part, they're okay. So that, you know, for the majority, I have, you know, the higher tones, everything's fine. We can talk and communicate, and that's all good. And all fine. But when that low tone comes in, which is the minority, that I will be wary and I will be on guard and I will be, you know, watching. Something, you know, and I know that they know, you know, mentally you can talk to them like they know, you know, and I'll be warning them that I am watching them and that I am not afraid of them and that I do know how to get rid of them in a way, shape, and form that they will not like. So they best be on their best behavior right now, you know, or stay in that little corner. You know? I think that's the thing. I think if you've got, I mean, because I do things on my own, I always, I mean, I wear an old Tibetan bracelet that I just choose to wear because it's all about protection. I mean, I don't but I know in myself that I'm not going to court anything bad. You know, I will not. I will be very firm and things. There are times when I know that I can't do this. You know, say I'm having a particularly bad week, or you know, something's happened. Then I know that I won't go out. I won't, you know, get involved at all. And I always look at what I'm feeling and how I am, and go by that, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
your intent, your posturing,
Yeah.
your intent, your mindset, it's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. You know, but even still, even all of that, we get tired. We get, you know, like I did a bad thing one time, and it cost me a hell of a lot of money. I went to a lot of investigations in a very short time with no sleep, and I ended up at the Hoosac Tunnel, and I took home a brick and a spike. Why the
Yeah.
hell would I tell people all the time, don't even take a pebble home from a haunted
Yeah.
house. I
Yeah.
don't care what it is, not a grain of sand, nothing.
Yeah.
I take home a brick and a spike.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
next thing you know, my television's blowing up, my computers are blowing up, my printer's blowing up, my microwave got smashed, and then I went nuts and had, you know, people come over help me get rid of this thing. But, you know, again, long investigation, that's to make a long story short. But yeah, even when you know these things, it can still happen to you, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
by doing one stupid thing. And that's why we harp on don't do these things, you know.
Yeah.
Don't investigate tired. Take your breaks, take your rest. You need to, you know.
Very much so. I mean, there's always this thought that you have to, when you go out in the evening time. I remember being the young investigator that you'd stay till 5 a.m. It was so exciting, but you'd be absolutely shattered, and you'd probably be seeing things that aren't there anyway. But you very much now that I will do 3 or 4 hours in a place. You know, I get there probably about 8 p.m. in the evening, and we'll go to midnight. You know, and carry on that way. But hi Cheryl, hi Sharon.
Hey, oh, hey, look what we got. We have a crypto cords box done.
Yes.
The Hellhounds.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's the music.
You can imagine that going off, can you, at a location? That would really...
So the longer you keep motion going in front of it,
Yeah.
the longer the music and the light will stay on. So you'll hear the whole thing. But if they move away,
Starts.
and they should stop by them holding it, so should stop. There's something moving.
That's usually the way, isn't it? When
Oh,
it
yeah.
lies, something. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Amazing, yeah.
It's all his magic that he does. So speaker stuff.
That's technical term stuff.
That's
More
what I
stuff.
stick to when it's technical. I say that stuff, you know, because I got I did have a technical nerd in my team, but yeah,
Design. I urethane them all up and everything.
amazing.
You're awesome, great, thank you. Love you.
Me too.
She too. Mama D loves you too.
I'll say I love the devices.
That's good. Yeah, but I love the response I get. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Oh, I said love you too. You didn't say that to me. You said it to you.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah. Love you too, Sharon.
Nah.
Oh, look at
Hey,
Sharon.
what?
Oh, you're watching on both ends.
Oh, God, confuse us, why don't you?
Oh my God, I can't believe our time is almost up. This is
I
crazy.
know it's been
Is it? Yeah.
just
Well, that's what's good about this show, and like
Yeah.
I don't put too much into this because it's out of my realm of comfort so
That's good.
far. Eventually, but I learn. This is what the thing is.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, well, you don't talk much. No, because this is the time for me to learn, so that when I do an investigation with people, I kind of sort of know what to do. But you probably find my ass out the back door as quick as it can be.
It's like a conversation. It's great, you know. It's good
It
to
is.
chat, and I learn things from you and pick up things. And I think that's the wonderful thing about these, these shows, that you can do that. You know, you can get. an insight into. I mean, I do love that coffin. You know, that device. I mean, I really, you know, I probably be a customer in the future on that one, just to kind of, you know, just because I know my team will jump a mile as soon as that goes off, you know, and the fun of it, because it, you know, we've got to have fun with this as well, you know.
Yes.
And it's got to be, you know, the moment. I mean, I've been at an event and I've done stuff, and people say, "Can I laugh?" I said, "Of course you can laugh," and I'll crack a joke.
It raises the vibrations.
It does. And when you joke, you hear things and you notice things that you probably wouldn't if you sat there all miserable. And
it's like I know a couple of friends. They belong to another team, and they went to an investigation one time. They talked about it, and they said they were getting nothing, but everybody was quiet, and you know. And then they have this one guy, Jay Lynch. He is like the jokester of them all. So he did something. I think he farted or something.
Yeah.
And everybody everybody just cut up laughing. And from that moment on, they kept getting good EVPs and everything, great connections with spirit, because they were too serious before. So, but it's like that. Yeah. But I think it's like that in life. If you sit in a room with people and you just sit there like as my mother would say, a bump on the log, you're not going to get to know people. You're not going to but if you you smile and you chat and you know, make interaction, you're going to get to know people. People want to get to know. So I think it's the same thing with spirit. You know?
And I think
people don't get.
It's like when you do these office. I mean, I used to work in an office where you used to have the big fun thing at the event, the ice breaking to get everyone to know each other. Some of them could be a pain in the backside, but it was good fun because I joked when I was a police officer, and people said to me, "How can you joke?" I said, "Well, because I can still have fun and relate to human beings, but still know when to do my job, you know." And I think that's what it's about. And I think there's a lot of people like us in the paranormal field that are like that because of what we do, you know. I mean, whenever I meet people,
it's very cliquey here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like this group, that group, this group, and everyone thinks they're. It's
the same in the UK. It's the same.
And I bounce from every group. I don't care about pics.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just like I just want everybody to work together. To collaborate and to talk about, and it's like, well, I got this and you got that. That's awesome, but how did you get this, and what did you use and why did you use that? But I think a lot of people have their equipment and they're not using it properly.
I think there's a lot of people that go in for the wrong reasons as well. Some people go in just for their egos. I mean, we all got egos, but you've got to have the passion. You've got to have that passion for the field. You've got to love what you do, and that's what you see with Johnny, isn't it? Johnny Zaffis and people like that. They love what they do. The passion's there, and you can tell the difference when you get the ones that they're just doing it to get their face out there, and they don't really enjoy it, and it's got to be fun. It's got to be great. Yeah.
Now you're writing a book.
Well, I'm disciplining myself to do it. I've got
Gina, are you listening to the way he's explaining that one? Next time somebody says that to her, she goes, "I'm disciplining myself."
Yeah. That's a strange description, really. But I'm really, getting myself to get down and do it because there's so much I've got to put into a book. I don't want to kind of just do the ordinary Amazon book that goes out there and everyone puts out, which there's no wrong in that because a lot of people do really well with doing that. But I'm trying to work on it. I've got several subjects though.
Yep. Because I would like to too. I mean, I have like 3 books I'd like to put out, but there's one in particular that I started like about 20 times. I have like a folder with a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a mess. But it's here. I mean, but I'd love to do, paranormal experience book. I'd like to do, just in general life thing. You know what I mean, too. But who's got the time?
We have lives.
Unbelievably, time's gone. It's just been amazing. And I didn't have the coffee, so I made do with the water.
I know. So that's 1, 2, 3 in the morning for you now. Oh my God.
It is, yeah.
I can't even believe it. But I appreciate that you stayed up with us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I've enjoyed it. It's been wonderful.
But the other things that you've done now, BBC Radio. No, I love BBC, the television channel. I like all the shows. Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Are you a Doctor Who fan? You better be a Doctor Who fan because I love Doctor Who.
I grew up with Doctor. Yeah, definitely. Grew up with
Oh, I should make a Doctor Who, but I need a TARDIS.
Yes, you should.
Like one of the original music. Oh, see that? See? I'm gonna write that down because I'll forget. I need a TARDIS box. Oh, I love it. So, but is BBC Radio as big as like BBC TV?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the national. I've been on the local. It is looked upon as big as, and they often like me on there because I give an alternative thing on what it could be, but I also, I don't poo-poo what everyone's experiencing and having. So I'm quite interesting for them in that sense because it's very difficult with media because media. One side of media wants you to make it all up and it be really exciting. Yes. The other side of media wants you to condemn everything and say this is a load of rubbish. And you have to explain. You cannot say the one thing that gets me. Yes, you can be an expert in a particular field, but I say to them, I'm not really an expert in that because everyone's learning all the time.
Nobody's an expert.
We're learning all the time, and until and we cross over, we don't know what is and what happens. So, it's but it's interesting. It's interesting doing the shows and doing that because it gives you you get people ringing up with questions that are quite funny sometimes.
Absolutely. All right, and then I did get some pictures from you. I want you to explain what these pictures are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this was where I was in a Vietnamese. It's an orphanage actually. When we were on our travels, me and the wife decided to go. Now he's pointing to his hair because he noticed my hair goes up like a kink, and he's saying he wants his hair like that. So that was quite impressive. The other one that was from the Sydney. The quarantine station, and that was where I went there to visit and was left alone. And you can see the old nursing uniform, which gives a kind of atmosphere. A few cupboard doors open when I was there, which we couldn't explain.
Huh. Now, did you get any like EVPs there?
No EVPs. Nothing. Yeah.
All right. And then these pictures are. We already talked about Alcatraz and your time on Alcatraz, which is amazing. And this other the other.
Yeah, the other one was America Samoa, and that's the young princess of the village. She's the actual village chief's daughter, and she dressed up in them. And her sister come up and told me a story. She said, first of all, they were very guarded about ghosts because they've become very Catholic there, and they don't want to talk about it. And she suddenly said to me, "Can I have a quick word?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "We call them Aitu. That's AITU." She said, I saw one in my village. I woke up one morning and there was this woman looking over me, and I know it was a relative of mine. It was a ghost. I saw it. And she said, but I can't say too much about it. But I listened to her and took the story from that.
Wow. That's amazing. So you've gone to a lot of places though. Like run down the list of like places, countries and whatnot that you've gone to.
It's difficult to say. I would say I found Hong Kong fantastic, only because I went to this old place in Hong Kong, which was it was quite amusing because my wife was back on the ship and they said, "Where's Richard?" And she said, "Oh, he's gone to visit a brothel." Now everyone kind of looked at her and she said, "No, it's okay. It's a haunted brothel," and that made it even worse. So what it was, there's an old brothel in Hong Kong. And it's basically trying to find the name of it now because Nam Koon Terrace, that's it. And what it was, when the Japanese actually took over in Hong Kong in the Second World War, they apparently treated the women badly there, and it was used as a brothel. And there's lots of screams heard from there, and lots of people have actually got exorcists in, and lots of things have happened there. So I did manage to go and visit that place, but again, I didn't get anything EVP wise. So I think sometimes you just got to be going back all the time, and when you're visiting just out of the blue, it's difficult.
Right. Because I always find it's either one or the other. You know, I'm either going to see them, or I'm going to hear them,
Yeah.
or we're going to, you know, sense that it's not. It's very rare that it's all
Yeah.
together. You know what I mean? So I always want to. It takes enough energy for them to either show themselves, or it takes enough energy for them to talk, or it takes enough energy for them to move something, or touch something, or you know, mess with our equipment, or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
that's a lot of. It's a lot of work for them.
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're afraid. Some of them are afraid of the devices. I went to Hillview Manor and we had a whole bunch of equipment out there. My AVP said, "Don't touch that. Don't touch that."
The difficulty is knowing what you're talking to and what era you're talking to. I mean, if you turn around to somebody and say, "Go near my whatever," and they don't have a clue what you're talking about if they once lived, you know,
Right. Yeah.
that can be, you know, a problem. I think Mama's disappeared again, hasn't she? She's it happened to me. It keeps happening to me. So
no, you guys are haunted.
yeah, definitely. It's
I had my issues before we started. Like my camera went out twice. I had to unplug it from behind the computer to put it in front of the computer so that if it did it again, I could just unplug it and plug it back in. So
yeah.
But I've been good. Knock on wood. But what is your favorite place that you've gone to, and what's the place that you really want to go to the most?
I think Bristol Old Vic, which is in the town I live in, is called Bristol, and the Old Vic theatre there was fantastic. They've had some of the best actors. They've had some of the American Hollywood actors start there as well, and that theatre goes back to 1764, and it's fantastic. And one of the things there, they got a lady that played Lady Macbeth, and there's a lady called Sarah Macready, and her office is there. And she was a very strict office in the theatre, you know, a manager of the theatre. No one went near her office. And I took a radio crew with me, and they said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, the guy that does the news, we're going to put him in the office where Sarah Macready lives." So he stayed there for part of the evening, but soon got out as soon as he could. But it's a lovely place, and it's, I don't know, I think theatres are really fascinating. But there's so many. Computer crashed, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mama. I love you.
Sending our love and happy, you know.
Yeah, we'll send healing to you.
Yeah.
But you do events from there too, right? Charitable events.
Yeah, I did a charitable event. It's for children in need in the UK, and basically, I did an event. They put a blindfold on me and left me in the most haunted place, and then somebody had to follow and do it themselves, and whoever did it raised the biggest money for charity, which was great. So it was all good fun.
Oh, see, now that's a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, because we do a lot of things, like a lot of events at Ghost Hunts that we go to the locations that, you know, need help.
Yeah.
You know, like their Penhurst Paracon, you know, the money goes to fix Penhurst, you know, and because it's a big, huge place, you know, it needs a lot of work, and that's a lot of money, you know.
A lot of what I do as well is raise money for the locations, because they are so important. I don't know what's... Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel bad that, you know, with those 15 apparitions walking that I have that video, that building is torn down now.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go back to the site with the building gone to see if they're still there.
Yeah.
You know?
That's very true of many places, that, you know, people go back there and the building's no longer there, and they wonder if the actual ground is haunted, the atmosphere around there is haunted. And, I think... sometimes it is, because there's a place called Kelvedon Hatch, which is a nuclear bunker, which I was left alone in. I had to go from the top to the bottom, and it was more scary at the bottom, apparently. But there was nothing there in the bunker that we could see that really happened. But it was the ground, you know. So if that bunker was no longer there, it's probably the ground and the area around there. If you go back in time, that something happened and made that place active and haunted.
Yeah, well, or it could be the ground itself. I mean, it could be under there, quartz mixed with water, mixed with whatever, you know, elements and such too. It could be on a ley line. It could be, you know, a lot of EMF. A lot of different factors.
Lots of things.
That's why, like, you know, all the different pieces of equipment come in handy, so you can get all these readings and measurements and whatnot, and find out what they are. You know.
Yeah.
So what you can rule out and what you can say, I don't know. You know. But I don't want to keep you. I mean, we're already...
No, thank you for having me.
So, I mean, I want you to go to bed and get some
Yeah.
sleep. And I so appreciate. I'd love to have you back on again sometime.
Lovely, Gina. It's been a privilege to meet both of you, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you.
Get ready.
Yeah.
To your book.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna end this. So hang with me for a minute. All right, everybody. We'll see you. Me and Mama D. We'll see you next week on Thursday. We're gonna get back on track. We're gonna stop skipping weeks. No more lollygagging. We'll be here. All right. So thank you, Richard Case.
Thank you.
Let me do this first. Okay. This is where you can see his website, www.theghostchallenger.co.uk.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can find Chris. Check him out. All right. And Richard Case on Facebook, like all the social medias. All right. So, buonanotte. Thank you very much. Love you, love you, love you. And we'll see y'all next week.